that. Eitan my brother, good morning to you. How are you, sir? Allow Baba, she audio minjade. I hope audio Archie majade. I know you said good morning 20 seconds, 29 seconds ago. So let's hope that audio Archie no majade as well when I connect with Archie in a few minutes. A very good morning, everyone. Today's Friday, Abby. Not dinner, it's just today. So tired from yesterday work. But we are back again. So I'll join Archie in just a few minutes. Moki gbogbo èèyàn wa pátápátá pé ṣe dáadáa la bá wa. Good morning to everyone. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Yami Taiwo Banuso. Mr. Larry Waju Aurolo Ekaro. I've been at Tetigbiran Leni. Bubuwala Tashelano. Body she feel a little bit tired. Koshano. So I think we're good to go. Can go live now. TikTok after a few days to take her out. So I think I gotta join the studio now. I then connect the platforms to Kuna as well. Okay, we work by Caro. Akuda Joe. Adeku Kubojo Joshiri. Lashano work by Nigeria. So let's go live with Archie now.
Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station. I'm bringing the time now to 7 minutes past the top of the hour. The songwriters there said, well, the goodness of God, the goodness of God. That is what has sustained us, sustained you and me. So wherever you are, thank God it's Friday, as we say. But the songwriter also says, and my mind day. So it's Friday and my mind day. What about you? Okay. Now we're going to be having Mr. Koiki. Yes, he's getting himself ready, all seated, and we are going to be firing on all cylinders this morning. So wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. Just stay in there whilst we bring Mr. Olayomi Koiki to you. And let me say, Yomi, good morning.
Well, a very good morning to you back in the studio, Mr. Archie. Good morning, Frank, and good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the globe. And welcome once again to the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. It is the Friday, and I guess if I'm right with my calendar, it's going to be the last Friday of the month of November. This time next week, we will be saying Happy New Month, but for now, we're still in November, and we still have the final week to say it is Starr Radio UK. Sit back and let's take you through some of the update coming from Nigeria this morning.
Yes. How are you? How was the final segment of the business what exhibition that was taking place at the Excel Center in London?
Well, it was a very I eventually end up into another event that was happening there, which is the the zero energy exhibition, if you want to put it that way. So I think the outcome of the event, which I'm still going to have to reflect, when you come out of this kind of big event, it takes a year to plan it. So you cannot also consume everything. But I believe that there will be a lot that we can share with our listeners and viewers, which we've done, in the last 48 hours at the Excel Center. But the takeaway, from me is the fact that, reflecting back, I came back home yesterday, and I was discussing with the family regarding the outcome of it. But one thing is, the opportunity is there. If the enabling environment is also there, many generations, regardless of wherever they are, be it in Africa, in Europe, would also love to, participate in this kind of opportunities. But unfortunately, the part of the world that we have come from, which is a very beautiful place, Africa, industry, it hasn't been industrialized. So, and the reason for that is, something that we can debate on. While I was at one of the, the energy events, I could see some plants, and I was very curious. I was asking questions regarding some of these, machines. I mean, I'm just showing you, one of those machines. You can see it there. These are very powerful machines, and the question is that these machines are used mostly for different scale of, small scale industries and medium scales as well. But we hope, as Bola Tinubu, the president, says, they're doing everything possibly best, to revive the Nigerian economy, to make sure that many Nigerians will have the opportunity this time around, as against, the opportunity that they never had, But how they will do that when the country, as at another headline this morning, Nigeria owes foreign airline 1.64 billion US dollars.
Now, before we come to the substantive issues for today. Now, do you think that these renewable energy thing that they're talking about, Africa is prepared?
Well, I mean, you're quite right, and it was quite interesting because when I went back to one of my video that we did yesterday, and while I was looking at the comments, you could tell that many Africans are saying that we've not even done it so much. We shouldn't be even talking about the renewable at the moment. We have to first become viable. We have to become able to stand on our own, and that literally means that talking about renewable is something that we should take out of the context. The net zero energy. I just want to pick up what that individual said in the comment section yesterday, and you could tell that it shows that many people are following, they're listening. But again, I'm not too sure whether Africa is ready. This individual says net zero. Well, what net zero? I beg, Africa does not need these at the cost of their development.
Yeah, I seem to agree with him 110%, because that is what is going on. And when we talk about renewable energy here, it's very expensive. It's very, very expensive. So for Africa that is not developed to that place or that position where we think that we've got everything, like in this part of the world where we've got everything, and now thinking, okay, now let's stop that, let's stop using these cars, and let's go get more expensive vehicles and more expensive things. I don't think we are ready for that. And for our leaders, I hope that they don't go sign no deals like, oh yeah, and then no, I don't think that.
Well, you're quite right. I mean, while I was there, I could see, a beautiful BMW electric car, BMW. And the question is, we have not got to that stage yet in terms of development in Africa, and there's still a lot of work needs to be done, before we can start talking about it. But again, it seems that the Western power, the Western world, wants to force certain things on us, which we must sometimes say it is not yet ready for that continent.
Okay, I said it. It is not yet ready for that continent. But what do you think? Lots more going to be coming your way this morning from the updates from Nigeria. I'm somebody Koiki in the North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios. We are bringing you updates from Nigeria. Let me say good morning to Pastor Samuel Lamte and the First Lady, Mrs. Lamte, Frances Lamte there as well. Okay, now let's look at some of the stories. Now, yesterday we did talk about it, and we were asking whether the House of Representatives in Ondo State will be able to actually do something about the fact that the substantive governor is not in the state, trying to rule out of the state, and virtually because his presence is not there. And we'll talk about deputyship, where you can deputize. You have somebody, if you have a deputy, when you're not there or you're indisposed, the person has to take the helm and run things. So now it looks like the lawmakers are meeting to declare Ayedo Tiwa acting governor. Is that plausible?
Well, and right there on the screen is the Ondo State governor to your left-hand side, for those of you that are watching us on the Starr Radio UK, and the deputy is the one on the right-hand side. So let's go a little bit, into it. There was a question you did ask me, whether the lawmakers, the federal lawmakers, at the state level would be able to, take, that stand, and declare Akeredolu unfit, to govern from Ibadan, where he's currently living. I still try to battle that and find out why, a sitting governor left his own state to live in another state and then wants to operate from there. It's just something that, some of us that have lived outside the shore of Nigeria start to wonder, what kind of planet are these kind of politicians operating for? But like I said this morning, it seems that the Ondo State House of Assembly have now decided to hold a preliminary session today to discuss the state political situation. I'm not too sure, where they are in terms of, the support that Akeredolu has from the state. If he doesn't have the support from the federal lawmakers at the state level, we might see Akeredolu, probably being taken out, and we might have to get the new acting to run the affairs. But from the reliable gather that the lawmakers would discuss the issue, the most important issue of the executive arm of the government of the state, as the lawmakers may, that is not too sure yet. Like I said, these politicians are very good. They perfect things very well in their own way. Keredolu, might even bribe as any of these, lawmakers to keep him fit, even though we know he's not fit. He spent 3 months in Germany, and we wish him good luck, in his health care. But as many Nigerians are dying anyway when it comes to healthcare. But he's not the only Nigerian. He's the first citizen of the state. For me as a person, if he's not fit, we've got to take him out and allow somebody else to do so. But that would be subject to the state level. And that is why they say they may declare the deputy governor, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, as the acting governor following the inability of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu to resume office due to his ill health.
It's quite interesting because, again, we're looking at our officials, state officials, who, for ill health or one or two things, are not able to perform. And the question is, how are they able to? We are not able to be told that, look, they might have done this, or this is the ailment that they got in this part of the world. If somebody, there was one, is it a minister or an MP? It was a minister at the time, and I think he had a sort of cancer or something, and then I think he died sometime last year or any part of this year. I've forgotten his name. There's one of the conservatives, and everybody. So when he got to that point, they saw that he didn't have the strength, so he decided to step back. Okay, so then the constituency or the state can go on, but it looks like our people, they want to be there until they die. Yummy.
Well, it's an African cause. You don't say, when you're giving birth. Sometimes I wonder, in this part of the world, since I've lived there for over 2 decades, when people say, my wife deliver tomorrow, and I'm thinking, okay, that's a good news, but we don't say that in Africa. You just wrap that up and allow the baby to come through, because the baby might get stuck in the belly of the woman. You're right. Akeredolu, we know, I don't have the background to his medical history, but he's someone that I met in 2017, a very chubby individual, during, Ondo auto race that was organized by another diaspora that led us into Ondo State. I asked him questions at the time if it is viable to invest in Ondo State. But from the one I'm looking at right now, it seems that he has lost so much weight, and that literally means that whatever the illness that is wrong with him, we pray he gets over it. But for now, he cannot manage Ondo State from Ibadan. He needs to resign or allow the deputy governor to. The deputy governor is just going to be the acting. But again, what you got to remember is that Akeredolu might have some shitty things that he doesn't want the deputy to see, and that will open the worms that he might not want them to see. But again, we see what is going to be the outcome. Like I said, it is still maybe, it is not yet confirmed, but we'll probably know on Monday, God's willing.
Okay. So we will keep fingers crossed and see what happens. But what has to happen is that the interest of the state should be paramount to his personal or parochial interest there. Listen to Starr Radio, okay? Mr. Olayomi, Koiki, and North London Studios. I'm Archie here, and we are bringing you updates from Nigeria. The federal government states plan 18 million agri jobs from a 1.5 billion fund. Now, the question is, we know that workers were going to the farms, doing whatever they had to do. However, people decided not to go to their farms because of insurgents and Fulani headsmen rampaging their farm, destroying their farm, their produce, and then also killing them. So you cannot put the cart before the horse. The cart has to come behind the horse. However, we don't know. Maybe government saying this. Maybe they've actually embodied some security stuff in there. Yomi, can you tell us more about that?
Well, you're quite right. And we don't want to be very partial here. I mean, we're not just talking about the southwest of Nigeria, where Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho decided to stood close to his people, by saying enough of the killings, and let's go straight to Igogon when there was a death of Dr. Aborode. Aborode is a PhD holder that decided to venture into mechanized farming. I mean, we're not talking about local farming here. That's a huge farming with cattle rearing as well. But unfortunately, he was not just killed, he was butchered, by these criminal, Fulani terrorists. Let's take you back to the southeast. There's a lot of atrocity happening there. I saw a report from the Al Jazeera where more than 80 heads, and I'm talking about human heads, not goats, not cow. These heads were found in the market close to where cows are being sold. Let's take you to the north as well, because like I said, we don't want to be partial here. Farmers have decided to harvest as quickly as possible, and the reason for that is they've decided now that paying taxes to terrorists, to be able to operate. But it seems that the federal government says they are planning 18 million agriculture jobs again, with the total fund of about 1.5 billion US dollars. Nigerians keep asking, when it comes to hearing this large amount of money, is it the money that has been borrowed? Is it the money that has been given as a grant to support, the local farmers? And then, we can be able to allow more Nigerians not to become hungry. I'm just going to link this to another report. Looking at the background, the picture you're looking there is not a Photoshop. It is a picture of what is happening currently, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. According to the report by Clara Amones, has now alerted that we are now looking at about 26.5 million people in 26 states out of 37 states of the Nigeria as it is today will face food crisis between June next year and August 2024. That is a huge number. If the federal government can get it right under this new administration, and getting it right means that there must be, the food security. The food security was discussed by the defense chief, during the, conversation with the chamber at, I think on Tuesday. I heard, the defense chief talking about food security. Let's come back again to these, the National Economic Council yesterday announced and planned to channel at least about 1.52 billion US dollars. Again, we've got it now. This is a donor fund into 36 special agro-industrial processing zones across the nation. And the aim is to create over 18.1 million jobs, including 100,000 farmers nationwide. It seems that President Bola Tinubu, as he was called, the Agbado, from those that are from the obedient, most people call him Agbado, because the reason for that is, remember that he said to the former President Muhammadu Buhari, recruit 50 million youth, put them in the military. What are they going to eat? Corn, cassava. It seems now that his agricultural plan is about to take off if it's done properly.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Will it take off or will it land? That is the question. But interestingly, you did talk about the food security, and my question is, have they actually maybe released or actually the importation of rice or food stuff? So as that, earlier on when Buhari was there, he tried to actually sanction the importation of rights, especially. That's why the borders between Nigeria and Benin was actually closed or shut down. But now with everything that is happening and the fact that people cannot go to their farms to till the land, that people are harvesting their produce before even it's fully matured and stuff like that. What is government doing to supplement that in the interim before we have these farmers now going back to their farmlands?
Well, it seems that that is still ongoing. I mean, you can't import rice into the country. It is still a contraband. The government is trying to get the local consumption, to be done in Nigeria, and that means that a lot of investment must go into that particular sector. Going back again to these 18 million agri jobs, $1.5 billion. The first phase, which is going to run from Kano, Kaduna, Kwara State, Ogun State, Oyo State, Imo, Cross River State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory, will go about 520 million US dollars, and is set to be concluded by 2028. The 2026 state have expressed interest in joining the phase 2 of the program, where $1 billion funding from the AFB, the African Development Bank, and other partners will then be channeled. We know that Akimomi, was one time a minister for agriculture. So, it's a good industry, but it seems that the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kaira, revealed this to the State House correspondent. Let's link it back to what last week, almost a week ago, not a week, last month, because we're now coming into the end of the month as well. Boko Haram wiped Nigeria off the map. Professor Babagana Zulum raised alarm about the insurgency. And the reason for that is that he says we have to stop the younger ones from being recruited into the Boko Haram, ISWAP, otherwise in the near future, the entire Nigeria will be wiped off the map. One reason he said so was because the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, after raising this alarm, says that the insurgency is threatening to consume the nation due to the fact that the humanitarian crisis in the Northeast is not contained. He actually said that the IDP camps in the local government areas of Borno State is a potential time bomb, as they may serve as a recruitment ground for the Boko Haram and the ISWAP as well. According to him, the position of Borno State in the map of Nigeria is quite important. Borno State is also bordering Chad, Cameroon, Niger Republic. Other borders are so porous, and therefore maintaining security in the Northeast sub-region entails and maintaining the security of the entire country. One thing is, there's a lot happening, especially in the Northwest, North Central, where there's been banditry, kidnapping, and others that might affect this initiative that the government is talking about when it comes to agriculture. We must first tackle the security, and then we can roll out this beautiful scheme that this new administration is talking about.
Okay, listen, let's start Radio UK. Now, let's talk about what Professor Babagana was saying. And I'm looking at the human resources, and it's quite scary. It's quite scary because you have people who have come out of universities. Their parents might have paid, not might, because it's not free education. So they paid huge sums of money, whether loans or whatever, thinking that their wards are going to come out of universities and get good jobs so that at least they'll be able to take care of themselves, talk less even taking care of their parents as well. So if the people have come out of these universities and government is not giving them the enabling environment for them to get jobs to go to, or the private sectors to now employ them and all that stuff, then we are sitting on a time bomb. It's just a matter of time, Yomi.
Well, you're right. It's a matter of time before things goes the other way around. If security is not tackled, like I said, the security chiefs that spoke at the Senate on Tuesday spoke at length, talked about food security, talked about good governance. We don't have the good governance, and that is why we're going through so much as well right now. They also talked about the oil theft that is going on in the country. But like I said, if care is not taken, like that report comes, let's go back to that report that is coming out to say that 26.5 million. Remember that Nigeria still stands as the #1 capital poverty of the world. And that means that we are adding more numbers, when we should be reducing the numbers as we speak right now. The research result is contained in the November analysis result that was presentation organized by the Kwara Ministry of Agriculture and Human Development in collaboration with the CH and other partners. The report stated that the anticipated people include again internal displaced persons in Zamfara State, Sokoto State, Borno State that we talked about earlier. Speaking at that event, Isiaq Oloruko Oba, the permanent secretary of the ministry, noted that such report paint a gloomy picture of the food, nutrition, security facing the country.
Well, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, interestingly, I'm digressing a bit, but just pardon me if you are listening to us, because it's when you talk about insecurity and everything, and what this professor has said, Professor Babagana has said, it is quite worrying. When I'm looking at who finances these insurgents, you get it? Now, because you see them on their motorbikes, and it's not cheap to get a motorbike. And you see them in those pickup trucks. It's not cheap to come by a pickup truck. It's not like maybe there's an assembling plant in Nigeria and they've gone there to go and steal all those vehicles that they have produced. It's not like that. So that means somebody is importing it into the country. Now, government has to set up and try to investigate those things. And I remember back in the day, during Buhari's time, once a list was given that there were some people who were sponsoring terrorism, and we never gave any names out, and we never heard anything about it. Yomi.
Well, financing, these kind of activities, you're quite right. Most of these finance is also from not just the kidnapping that is taking place, the ransom being paid. When we talk about the total ransom paid during the previous administration, it's going to run into $1 billion naira or so. Remember that, one of the reasons why money was changed as well was because of the insecurity in the country. But it seems that even the security, the terrorists were so smart that they will refuse to take the old note and prefer to take the new one. Also, we've talked about, the link between, the United Arab Emirates, some few years back, when certain individuals, according to the, the government of the, UAE says that they were financing, the terrorism in Nigeria. But are the government very serious, connecting and making sure that the financing of these particular terrorism can be nipped on the bud as quickly as possible? Because we're talking about huge amount of money that Nigerians paid, to terrorists, and this money sometimes get converted into the, the foreign currency. That because you ask yourself, what are they going to be doing with naira? What does the terrorist do with naira when you pay ransom? I could give you names and people that have paid huge amount of money. As we speak to you right now, there's still people being held captive. Those that doesn't have that kind of money, they get killed. This money then transfer into a foreign currency like the dollar, and then it gets moved out as well. And out of it as well, local things are bought, especially the Okada, which they use. Even many Nigerians cannot afford a brand new Okada, but these individuals are using sophisticated ones, not just Okada. Sometimes they're using those powerful, motorbikes, which, I remember Ibagani Adams, talked about some few years back.
For sure, I know some politicians who might have been behind the scenes sponsoring all this, but you ask yourself the question, what are they aiming to achieve when it comes to that? But it's not coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 11:33. It is the morning show. Let's go to some of the other stories. The Kano State Police Command has arrested 7 persons for participating in Wednesday's protest, following the reported contradiction in the judgment of the Court of Appeal sacking Governor Abba Yusuf. Now, this was the concern. Of the Yoruba community in Kano, expressed fear over the claim that Yoruba in the northern state might come under attack because people here believe they were cheated by a Yoruba president. Yomi, give me more of that.
Well, while before coming on air, I was having that discussion behind, the scene. Tinubu is a Yoruba man, so it seems that in the north, the belief is that whatever is happening in the north today, in terms of the change of the state governor, which INEC presumed, as gave us as a winner, but it seems that is going to be overturned now. The Yoruba communities are now worried, and the reason why they're worried is that they might become the target from those in that particular state, because Tinubu has probably interfered in the judicial system. I read a little bit of the PDP communique yesterday, the governors forum, and they have not really pointed fingers at the judiciary, but that will be a different thing to the to those on the ground. I'm talking about the members of each of this political party. So the Kano State Police Command have arrested 7 persons for participating in the Wednesday protest following the report of the contradiction in the judgment of the Court of Appeals sacking the governor Abba Yusuf of the NNPP and then making APC as the candidate that won that election in the state. But there is now a concern from the Yoruba community in Kano State, expressing fear over the claim that since the Bola Tinubu is a Yoruba man, they might come under attack because, they will believe that they were cheated by the Yoruba president. But the report that the both election tribunal and the Court of Appeal nullified the election, Governor Yusuf of the New Nigerian People's Party have now declared the candidate of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Nasiru Gowon, as the winner, following the report of discrepancy. We talked about this a little bit yesterday during the program, but we hope that the security, in the state will protect those community that are concerned as we speak right now. I understand that, the same concern normally the other way around, especially those northerners that are residing as well in the southwest and the southeast, believe that, when things happen, especially with the terrorism that is going on, there seems to be the target as well. But again, it just shows that there's so much tension that continues to bubble up in the country. I'm not too sure how the current administration will be able to look at it. But going into the Secretary General of the group, Taufik Olashebikan, that addressed the new conference in Kano, said, "We are using this platform to call on all the Obas and the leaders to come to our assistance by engaging President Bola Tinubu on the political situation in Kano." We know that in Kano State, in the northern part, it's a different thing entirely. I saw the police running away, as against if it was in the southeast or the southwest, they will come in a very heavy force. But it seems that the police, are not taking it with a very kid glove. It seems that they're really, really not taking it serious. And that is why these individuals are coming out quickly, because things could go much more, the other way around.
Well, listeners, it's quite an interesting one, development from Nigeria. And I know, we have Professor Akintoye, and who's going to be giving a speech, I think, sometime tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow, with whatever, Yomi will let you know. And when you have your people, your own people, living in another part of the country, we are saying, they all continue to say, we are in one nation and all that stuff. And they think that their lives are under threat because they hail from another part of the country. Then we have a problem. We have a problem. Then when people are saying, look, we think we are being marginalized and we want cessation, we want to leave, then they have to be allowed to do so. But what do we think there? It's 11:38, so we're going to be just going on. I know Yomi will want to react to that, but we will let him do so as we go into the next one. 26.5 million Nigerians face hunger in 2024. We talked about that, and I don't know what preparation the government is putting in place to avert that, because we are looking at the fact that the rice importation is still bad, and then what? Food stamp. I don't know what food stamp is allowed to, but I think rice is a staple food that everybody would have want. Maybe get that one. You just put some maybe oil in it. You can just eat it, but 26.5 million. And if somebody comes and say, you know what? Come, let us give you some arms. Go and do this, and they will pay you. Why would the people not go in there? A sad one, but it's coming away from Starr Radio UK. Airport by Kenya Harmony has alerted that about 26 million people in 26 states of Nigeria will face food crisis. Now, Japa, don't migrate abroad without proper papers. Gabriel Erewa wants asylum seekers. And this is the picture behind Olayomi Koiki, which we are going to look at next. How many people don't want to Japa because they come from the uni and there is no jobs to go to? As I'm saying, when you are sitting down, your tummy is rumbling, then you know that, yes, life, this is real, real life. And when you sit down and just say, I'm going to drink water, how many days can you continue to drink water and see things life just passing you by? It is easier to say, don't japa. Yeah, you can say that because you have the means to support yourself. They think that is the only way for them. Yomi, tell us more.
Well, yeah, you're right there. The picture you're looking there are the some of the Nigerians, that I've watched the video. Again, reading some of the comments, many still even believe that they're better off than some of them at home. So, but they're living in a very sad situation in Canada. Canada is much colder than Europe. If you want to look at it, they're living outside in a tent. It seems now that since that their situation has come on the screen, it looks like they might be moving to a proper accommodation while their document is being looked at into. Right there in the picture with the glasses on is Abike Dabirewa. These are individuals that we love to ask questions, but they're very difficult to come and talk to. But I've got a numbers of how many Nigerians have jackpot, to UK, according to the report coming from another paper this morning. Fresh data shows that since the President Bola Tinubu came into office, 141,000 Nigerians fled to the UK in 1 year. So just before Tinubu was coming in, as the economy worsened, the question then is how many Nigerians will jackpot, to UK, to Libya, to other countries. Earlier this year, the UK government announced some changes to its immigration laws. I'm sure you've been following what is happening in Dublin, a very sad situation, as a young child was stabbed with the mother. That has literally turned Dublin straight into some kind of chaos. We hope things will quickly normalize there. The total of 141,000 Nigerians have migrated to the UK in the last year, according to the fresh data released by the UK government. The figure released by the Office of the National Statistics came as Nigerians embrace economic migration in what has been famously termed Japa, a Yoruba word roughly translate to mean to flee. Flee from what? Flee from poverty, flee from security, flee from medical education, flee for so many things. It's a sad one when, especially, we see people that we know. I met one of my, we call him the big uncle. He's older than me. When we met at the show yesterday, and for me to know that he has also come to stay with us here in UK, which is nothing wrong, then I start becoming a little bit more concerned, because these are individuals that have the means. I mean, they have big house in Nigeria. I've stayed with him. I've seen his network. I've seen his net worth. But he said to me, he would rather stay in this country right now than stay in Nigeria. How many of us would then run out of the country is the question. So Abike Dabiri is now also saying that if you're going to jackpot, the NITCOM boss urged those without proper documentation who are seeking asylum to desist. I've seen the situation is getting tougher in many countries. The chairman and the CEO of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NITCON, Abike Dabiri Erewa, has urged Nigerian asylum seekers to live legitimately with the proper documentation to avoid unpleasant consequences.
Well, if people think that whatever situation that they find themselves in is worse off than traveling and living under such conditions, that maybe hopefully, like the lepers theory there, where they said that if we stay here, we die. If we go there and we die, we die. At least if we go and they have mercy on us, they give us some food, we will live then. And that is the policy, or that is the means, or that is the move that most of these individuals are using. Because I was saying earlier on, if government cannot give the enabling environment for people to, get jobs, or listen, what do you expect them to do? Should they join terrorist groups? Should they join things like that? Should they go kidnap people? So when our leaders go around the world and flaunting all their this and that, I look at them and I laugh. I laugh because I don't know whether they are serving themselves or serving us. But listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Very sad one there. Thank you to every one of you on the various platforms that you are watching us on. And it is a Friday edition of the morning show. So like you could in the north part, North London, and Archie here in the South Studios, and we are bringing you a live program, the the morning show with the updates from Nigeria at the moment. Niger Voices will come your way every Wednesday, as it normally does, from 18 hours. So, Yomi, let me allow you to bring the rest of the stories because I think we've chopped more of the time there. But yes, so tell us more what is happening in Nigeria, what is happening on the social media platform.
We'll just take one more from the news and then we go straight to the social media. We're still focusing on the economy, which we've talked about, throughout the program, looking at reason why Nigerians are running away, security, and if things can be better. I'm sure many Nigerians would love to stay behind, especially now that the government is trying to inject almost 1.5 billion into the agriculture. We've talked about, Nigerian economy continuously is another sad news again from a current or a former CBN chief, Tinubu's government inherited dead economy. Soludo coming up this morning. The 63-year-old ex-CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria chief accused the Apex Bank of illegally printing money. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, has stated that President Bola Tinubu administration inherited a dead economy from his predecessors. Soludo made this assertion yesterday while commenting on policies of the Central Bank of Nigeria in an interview he granted, yesterday. This economy inherited a dead economy from a macroeconomic point of view. This government inherited a dead horse that was still standing. People didn't know it was dead. So can we now automatically say that Nigeria is dead? It is just standing, or should we say the other way around? He also went to say that because you can't pour water on a rock and not expect the rock not to be wet, there are humongous challenges. And I think it is important that Nigerians understand these. It is not a tea party. That says that there will be problem ahead. How this government tackles it will be something that we'll all have to wait. He also went on to say that, putting curbs on the monetary structures, which when he headed the Apex Bank between 2004 2009, he has now accused the former CBN as well, Emefiele, that has now been given a bail condition with 300 million. I've been told there's a lot of report out there. I can confirm that also certain amount of money was found at Emefiele's residence. The CBN was illegally printing money. We must realize where we are coming from, he said. We sat here in this country, saw the monetary authorities literally printing money illegally. I must say, because I superintend the development of the drafting of the 2007 Bank Act, and to prevent us from where we are today, that is why we had an elliptic clause there that prevents central bank from lending recklessly to the federal government. It seems that Emefiele just decided to lend to whoever wanted to lend, mostly to the cabals that Buhari now confirmed to us hijacked his government. We go straight at 11:47 this morning and see what is trending on the social media this morning. Once again, tonight, Professor Adebanji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba World, self-determination movement, will be speaking to the Yorubas. Like I said, not too sure whether that will be, televised, but whatever it is, the full details of that will definitely be heard on the Starr Radio UK Morning Show on Monday. You'll be talking about the way forward when it comes to the right to the self-determination of the Yoruba people. Well, Osibajo has left, as the vice president as well, but it seems that Osibajo is trending this morning, and let's see if we can pick something up. Well, according to distinguished KPMG link Del Everest, Agbado members who called Osibajo a betrayer did the flyers for it. Agbado members called GRV tainted blood because his wife is Igbo. They are the people who want to adopt Ada Anambra into their tribe. Those guys are just too funny. Well, I'm trying to figure out, what is linking that, to these. Fix it, strike a distraction. Osibajo tells Tinubu's. I'm trying to figure out, why Osibajo is really trending this morning, but it seems that Osibajo might be trending as well. So we're gonna go straight into one more, then we're gonna end the program in just about a few minutes because there's a background at the moment. And Chef Dami is trending as well. I'm gonna come back into the studio, Mr. Archie, so that we can wind down for now.
Okay, Yomi, thank you very much for this wonderful update. Listeners, we want to say thank you. And some of you are there, me. Yes, sir. Good morning to you, and thank you very much for joining us. And to all the numerous people who have joined us on the various platforms, as I did say earlier on, I salute each and every one of you. But Yomi, before you go.
Well, I will be back again on Monday. And Monday, we take it from there from what Professor will be saying tonight. Once again, it is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bye for now.
Bye bye. Okay, listeners, that has been Mr. Olayomi Koiki.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.